This is probably going to be a controversial statement to say that you will not be happy if you want all the hookups, if you want the rotation of 7 women, 1 woman for each day of the week, or wanting all these threesomes, foursomes, and fivesums. It might look cool in the surface, right? Like when you look at Dan Bilzerian, for example. Every single man on the planet wants to have his lifestyle. But when you listen to Dan Bilzerian talking about his lifestyle, he's literally telling us, and this was from a recent podcast, he was literally saying that he still feels this sense of lack. So he's not fucking all these girls from happiness, from feeling content, from feeling like a lot of love within himself. He's doing this because he still feels the lack. Isn't it interesting? So, our childhood has to do with something. Because, like Dan Bilzerian, I also had not a lot of success with women, right? I had a bad breakup. And this kind of negative experiences definitely have an impact on the way we act right now. I clearly could see that because when I started to have the success with women, right? Meaning like I could have 4 to 5 dates a week. I would have sex with women regularly, like new women regularly. I started to have fuck buddies. I started to have sex friends with benefits. I started to travel the world and meet different kind of women and have the results in different countries, not just in one country, right? And after all these years, right, I spent like 4 to 5 years doing that really intensively. I just realized that this was not making me happy. And it was a very challenging idea for me to face at the time because I was deeply in this, right? I was meeting women regularly in the streets, in the bars, in the clubs, and then I had to face the idea that this is actually not making me happy. So, what I did was very, very simple. I wanted to really understand, like, why am I so attracted to have this success with women, right? And there is a saying in psychology that basically says that what you didn't get in childhood, you will be attracted to eventually. I didn't get the female attention in my childhood. Like from 0 to 2021, there was no woman that were really attracted to me. Like here and there, sometime a woman liked me, but I didn't like her, right? I was not attracted to her. I lost my virginity when I was 19, and she dumped me right away. It was a painful experience, like, that made me feel a lot of emotions. And because of this upbringing of like no results with women, no attention, feeling shy, I was bullied also. Of course, that I was attracted to approach all these women, to meet women in the streets, in the bars, in the clubs, to start having sex with different kind of women, and etc., etc. Right? But like I said, I faced a roadblock. There was clearly something in front of me that was telling me, dude, you're not gonna get happy with this. So what I did is I stopped meeting women, I stopped dating, I stopped having sex, I stopped texting, I stopped using dating apps, and I just decided to go on monk mode for 8 months, right? And the first few months were really, really tough because I realized that my happiness, my well being was tied to have women around me. And because I cut that off, it was, pretty hard because I just couldn't find happiness anymore because I had no woman anymore. you know. And then I started to go into a proper healing process, meaning that I started to go internally and I was diving into the internal stories that I was telling myself of why I needed women to be happy. I started to go into my emotions. I started to go into my thoughts, my feelings, my sensations, right? My subconscious blocks, all of that, right? And it was hell of a journey, let me tell you that. It was super difficult to dive into all these parts and to be honest with myself, you know. But what I ended up realizing is that the fulfillment, the happiness, the contentment, the peace happens within ourselves. It has nothing to do with how the external world is acting upon us, right? The way we make sense of happiness, peace, fulfillment is through the relationship that we have with the external results, the external world, right? So, For example, a rejection could make you happy. If you get rejected by a woman in the street, in the mall, in the bar, in the club, you could see it in multiple ways, right? You could see it as like, oh, she doesn't like me, I'm not good enough. Or you could see it as like, wow, thank you so much. That means we're incompatible, right? And the second perspective is much more healthy because what happens outside of us has no impact internally, right? And we actually reframe it in a way that is positive, that makes us feel good, that makes us feel happiness, that makes us feel peace, right? So going through this internal work that I actually teach in my academy, like very thoroughly. So if you're interested in diving into this work with me, you can join the academy. I opened 4 spots yesterday. The door closes on Sunday. You can send me a message on Facebook. Just send me like academy, and I'll send you all the details if you're interested. But basically, when you do this kind of work, the external world has less and less impact on you because you took control over your emotions. You took control over your own happiness. You took control over your confidence, your masculinity, right? And when this process really becomes complete, right, you become a different kind of man. And for me, when I could see the end of this process, when I could see that, yeah, I was becoming more whole as a whole, I realized something pretty interesting. And this is the whole topic of this video, I think. Women will not make me happy. And especially having tons of success with women will not make me happy. Now, it was very interesting because I had a genuine desire to go deep into a long term relationship. And I think it came from this deep yearning of the masculine. The masculine seek depth. I mean, if you just look at how we have sex, literally the man is penetrating as deeply as possible the woman that he has in front of you, right? So the whole essence of the masculine is to penetrate, is to go deep, right? And isn't it interesting that if we look at how dating can be, if we take hookups, for example, how deep can we go with hookups? Not too deep. If we take threesome, how deep can we go with a threesome? Not too deep. There's a certain level of depth, but not too deep. The same with the rotation. The same with the polyamorous relationships. Not too deep. Because if you want to go as deeply as possible, you have to be single minded, right? You have to go in just one direction. That's how you go deep. If you go in all the directions, how can you go deep? You're going in all the directions. You're just, on the surface. That's it. Whereas if you go in just one direction, in one relationship, a committed one, with a woman that is serious about having a long term relationship, then you can go deep. And now the interesting thing is the deeper you go, the deeper you will be fulfilled. And this is where, for me, it was so clear that after this 8 month of being alone with myself, I just wanted a committed relationship. Now, not everyone is ready for this. So don't take it like, oh, I just need a relationship right now. No. Maybe you still need to have this success with women for a little bit, right? But eventually, if you're serious about this self development, about this self inquiry, about becoming the best version of yourself, you have to know that a relationship is the next stage. And it's fucking challenging, let me tell you. I've been in a relationship for a year now, and I had previous relationships as well. And it's really challenging, right? You will be changed at your core in a relationship, but for the best, because you're learning with the partner to be the best version of yourself. And she will be the mirror to show you all your weaknesses, all your vulnerabilities, all the aspects of yourself that you're trying to deny, right? So it's actually really good to have a relationship for us, man. We're growing so much for a relationship. And at the same time, we get the fulfillment, the happiness, and the peace if we approach it correctly, right? If you have a toxic relationship, of course you're not going to feel that. But if you have a healthy relationship, that's a different ball game. And that's why it's super important to attract the right woman. This is why I do what I do. I do what I do. This kind of coaching, this kind of videos is because I know that the process of attracting a woman is crucial. Like, if you can attract a good woman, you will be in for a beautiful journey with her, right? Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy this kind of content because I'm planning to upload more videos like this where I'm just expressing myself freely. And yeah, if you enjoyed, subscribe. You can like this video. This will actually help me a lot. And I see you when I see you, brother.